roadmap which we had put into effect almost 2 years ago. Let me highlight the focus areas for technology infusion and key systems that are being indigenously sourced. Towards improving mobility and protection, our ongoing procurements include light strike vehicles, light specialist vehicles, and bulletproof jackets which enhance the maximum affordable protection. Battlefield situational awareness is being increased through border surveillance systems of different kinds and nano drones. For target acquisition and precision fires, we have swarm drones, loiter munitions, and new artillery platforms such as the 155 mm towed gun system, mounted gun systems, A-tags, K9 Vajra, and the rest. New generation munitions include the 155 mm terminally guided munition and canister launch kind. Night fighting capability of our troops, both infantry as well as mechanized, is being enhanced through night sights and handheld thermal imagers, and communications or the communication systems are being upgraded through software defined radios. We are also deploying terrain specific electronic warfare systems, drones, and anti-drone or counter-drone systems. Logistic capacities and efficiencies are being augmented by employing logistic drones to be able to carry loads at different altitudes. Induction of new weapon platforms for the mechanized forces such as the light tanks and the future infantry combat vehicles, and for aviation such as the RPAS and light utility helicopters are in the pipeline. The provisions of emergency procurement which were given to the services by the government in 4 tranches for the last 2 to 3 years has actually enabled us to fructify close to 150 contracts to a tune of about 18,000 crores which were concluded, and this is the equipment which is now being deployed or utilized by our forces deployed on the borders to very good effect. Apart from weapon systems and equipment, we are also pursuing 45 niche technologies which have been identified for military application. 120 indigenous projects are underway to develop and absorb these niche technologies. Now, these span across multiple routes of innovation, incubation, and development. Centers of excellence have been established in our different technical institutions, which include the 5G test bed, the AI and the quantum lab, and MCT MAU. And a number of projects on AI, Internet of Military Things, robotics, and adaptive manufacturing are currently underway and in different stages of progress. Our warfighting inventory comprises a mix of vintage, current, and state-of-art systems. Enmeshing and integrating new technologies with the current and earlier systems to ensure interoperability and compatibility is essential. We are addressing this by initial inductions of new technology equipment in limited numbers, operating the new systems under field conditions, examining the integration metrics, defining improvements, and post-validation, progressing acquisition of the similar or same equipment in larger numbers. And these are being inducted at the level of, at the tactical level, operational level, as also strategic level, in all domains, that is the combat, combat support, and logistic domains of warfare. Doctrinal adaptation consequent to technology adaptation is also an essential thing. We need to tailor our doctrines and strategies to the prevalent operational paradigm, refining operational philosophies, concepts of employment, and tactics commensurate to the combat effects that accrue out of new technologies is therefore important to maximize the battlefield potential of these modern weapon systems. This shall remain an ongoing process. Relevant TTPs or tactics, techniques and procedures have been promulgated along with the standardization of crew and detachments for the new technology equipment and platforms. Operational discussions during our various war games incorporate new generation weapon systems and platforms to factor their impact on the operational, combat support and logistic plans. Force restructuring and organization becomes necessary to capitalize on the capabilities offered by such new technologies, and hence optimizing organization structures and having new and different types of organization is currently being resorted to. Pursuits undertaken by us in this regard include the restructuring of our signal regiments, or coming up with what we refer to as network signal regiments, reorganization and integration of the EW or the electronic warfare units and the signal units, raising of command, cyber operations and support wings at the level of our geographical commands, raising of 2 independent aviation brigades, and number of other such measures. In order to enhance the technical threshold of soldiers, our training establishments have modified the training syllabi to align with the future technological requirements. Simulation and virtual reality training modules have also been incorporated. Clauses for training by the OEM or the original equipment manufacturer for niche technology equipment is now being included as part of the initial or the original contract that is to be concluded. And in order to bring in domain-specific competencies, we are recruiting cyber specialists and linguists through the territorial army route, because that is where we realize that the young boys and girls or youth who are already qualified in the subjects, we should be able to leverage their expertise and their potential. While technology remains a crucial facet of possessing the desired military capabilities, yet the human element will always play a pivotal role in combat preparedness. Empowering the soldier, therefore, remains at the core of all our pursuits of technology infusion. Apart from training, soldiers are being encouraged to take ownership of the technology they use. Soliciting feedback and fostering innovation also remains a key facet. Recently, the design of a multi-purpose octocopter by one of our infantry NCOs, and another project where a submachine gun was developed by another infantry officer are 2 such examples. A number of decision support automated software applications have been tailor-made to enable and assist the human element in processing the vast volume of information and data and take timely decisions, both in combat as well as management and administrative disciplines. Given the impact of technologies like the artificial intelligence, cyber, big data analytics, and electronic warfare, the salience of the cognitive domain is increasingly getting important. Therefore, developing cognitive skills of soldiers, including critical thinking, problem solving, situational awareness, and providing opportunities to upscale their competencies in specialized domains is important. Leadership and mentorship programs to enable the junior leaders to effectively lead and manage teams in a technology-enabled environment forms a crucial facet of our structured training even at the field formation level. Key essence of the issues that I have just spoken have been articulated in a detailed roadmap and disseminated to the field army as part of our endeavor to observe 2024 as the year of technology absorption. To conclude, I would like to underscore that the pursuit of technological prowess shall remain an abiding one for us. We need to constantly look beyond the horizon and invest in the next set of deep technologies of the future. The answer lies in synergy of all available competencies to drive capacities in national security. Swadeshikaran se Sashaktikaran is a work in progress where all stakeholders, be it the services, industry partners, the startups, R&D institutions, academia and policy makers have an equal and crucial role to play. Herein lies the vision and strategic direction of leaders in developing a national defense ecosystem and fostering a culture of self-reliance. Towards that, effecting policy measures, resource allocation, investment, skilling, incentivizing innovation and entrepreneurship, leveraging strategic partnerships, and holistically empowering all stakeholders are some of the important check boxes where we find affirmative actions that are currently underway. On our part, the Indian Army shall continue its pursuit towards transitioning into a modern, agile, adaptive, and technology-enabled, future-ready force. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for your encouraging address. And as founding team at MIT Tata Center for Technology and Design, well, let us see what our respected keynote speaker, this experienced mind, takes out actually from his arsenal for us today. May I please invite and humbly invite Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director, Atal Innovation Mission, to please render the keynote address. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. A very good morning to all. Let me start by saying what a distinct honor this is for me to be speaking to you all of you who work hard day and night to protect our nation, your nations, and to take our nations forward. Under the leadership of Honorable Army Chief, whom you just heard from. And I have to say that until a few minutes ago, I did not know how well his address would set up what I want to talk to you about. He talked about the critical technologies that every nation needs, that it knows other nations may have, but they cannot get it. And how do you think about that? That's really what I want to go think about in the next 15, 20 minutes. Before I begin, though, I have to I have at least two other people to thank, DG Claus, Lieutenant General Dushyant Singh Ji, who created this opportunity, as well as my colleague at Niti Aayog, Major General Narayanan, whom many of you know, who has arrived at Niti Aayog recently. And just in case you didn't know, under his leadership, Niti, which is a central think tank of the government of India, now has a defense group. So make use of it. I want to start by with a disclaimer. The chief already went over in great detail many technologies and the endeavors that are underway in the Army. I am not an expert in defense technologies, and so I can't pretend to be one. What I hope to do over the next 20 minutes or so, though, is to really talk to you about how to think about technologies, which is something that we at Atal Innovation Mission do. Now, last night, I was having dinner with a colleague who has been very actively engaged with the military technologies, and I told him that I'm going to speak at Klaus this morning, and he said, when you come back, I have only one question for you. What was the average age in that room? And I'm going to tell him the average age was 18 inside, because they were all talking about technology and innovation. So I want to take you through a three-phase conversation. The first, I want to start by saying a thank you to Defense, Ministry of Defense, all of you, for leading the way within the government of India when it comes to integrating technology into a sector. I'll say a little more about it in a little bit. Second, I want to say what is still unsolved. This is the question of that critical technologies. And third, I want to offer a perspective on how to think about the unsolved. So that's the agenda over the next few minutes. Now, let's start by so if I'm sure you have noticed that around across our nation, there's beginning to be this innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem which is vibrant. There's a lot of talk about startups and so on. And there may be a question as to where are we in this journey? I mean, are we close to getting done? Are we, or when will we know that we are done? And I think one way to think about that question is to say that when every segment of our nation begins to feel confident that we can solve our problems or take on our opportunities through conventional means when required, but if the conventional means don't work, we know, we are confident we can take those problems on with innovation. If that happens in sector after sector after sector, or and the entire nation is engaged in that way, then I think we would have arrived. Now, on this journey, defense has taken a lead. Many of you may know about IDEX, which is the Innovation for Defense Excellence. They have so far, this is a platform that is engaging private sector creativity into addressing defense challenges. In other words, engaging startups, MSMEs, individual innovators. You throw a problem at them, they come up with a solution, you support them, you bring them to market, you procure from them. They have so far supported 450 odd startups in the last 3 years, spending about 1100 crores, that is 450 from the government, rest matching funds, etc. They have partnered with 28 incubators so far, and they are the first ministry that has been able to procure from startups in a relatively seamless way. This is the only program today in India, across Government of India. There are 14 ministries in Government of India that work on innovation in their own domains. This is the only program that can give up to 25 crore rupees. For my foreign friends, crore has a 7 zeros behind it. 25 crore rupees for a single startup. This is the only program that does it. So in other words, this is the program that is beginning to show other ministries how to integrate innovation into their sector. And might I add that this program, IDEX, was incubated at Atal Innovation Mission in its first 2 years. So congratulations to all of us. Now, the first thing I want to say is that IDEX is able to do what it can do because of the innovation ecosystem that's built around it. Let me tell you a little bit about it. I got some pictures here just in case I use my unique capability to induce some sleep in you, even early in the morning. This is a picture of a location map of Atal Tinkering Labs. These are maker spaces in schools. We have built 10,000 of them across 722 districts. We have so far sensitized about 11 million students with this idea of design, solving problems through design thinking. And about 160,000 innovative projects from schools have emerged from an endeavor like this. Let me share with you some examples, because in this land, in this land of ours, there is no dearth of creative thinkers from very, very young ages. This is a picture of Muhammad Zidain Yatu. He is from Kangan, which is a little north of Srinagar, a 4th grade student. He's showing me how he has built a racing game on a platform called Scratch, which is a programming platform for children. Now, I have met, Scratch was invented at MIT, which is where I have been teaching. I have met a large number of Scratch programmers all over the world, much older to this boy, but I have not seen a program of this sophistication built on scratch. I can give you more examples. In Jammu and Kashmir, continuing, these are kids who are taking on problems that most of the nation doesn't even know exist, because these are local problems. For example, in Jammu and Kashmir, there was a set of school students who have built these carbon monoxide sensors activated windows in houses. When carbon monoxide level rises above a certain level, it just motorizes the motorized window opens up, and the people who are sleeping there are saved. Most of the nation would never solve this problem for them because they just don't know this problem exists. Similarly, in Sivakasi, down south of Madurai, there are children of laborers who work in the fireworks factory. All of us use fireworks in Diwali, etc. These children know that the highest risk activity in that process is the mixing of the chemical by hand. These children have built these automated drums for chemical mixing so that their parents can be saved from a fire accident. None of us would ever solve that problem because we don't know such a problem exists. Let me give you the last example. This was Mukesh Vispute. It's an 8th grade boy from Maharashtra. This boy has a prototype personalizing the electric fences at the borders or at the edges of a farm, such that if it is somebody known to the fence, that is our soldier, our cattle, it will not shock. But if it is somebody unknown, it will shock. These are problems these kids are taking on. And they are all, the reason I'm giving you these examples is that these labs are all across the country. Wherever you go, there is a lab nearby, and there is an army of these innovators coming to help us. Right? Let me say a little more. At the older ages, we have built incubators. These are in colleges, they are in the industry. In our country today, these incubators support somebody to go from an idea to a startup. In our country today, there are over 1,000 incubators. What you see in these maps here is that on the left-hand side is the total number of incubators in a state or union territory. On the right-hand side, that same number divided by 1 million population to see how much access is there to incubation in that region. Now, there are many sector-specific incubators. There are 28 defense incubators at this point in IDEX's list. For example, textile, coffee, climate, you name it. There are people working on these types of innovations. So that's the other part of our ecosystem. Now, together, this infrastructure has supported a number of startups. As of yesterday, we have 124,000 plus startups registered in the DPIIT registry. You may say, well, a lot of people ask, what is a startup? Why are we so gaga about it? We have always had small businesses doing business. No, the difference is, or difference is supposed to be, that a startup is a small business that is whose basis are innovation, and who's structured to uniquely scale. Think about Amazon, Flipkart, etc. Uniquely scale. Our mom and pop shop nearby has not uniquely scaled. So that's the kind of entity one is talking about. Here, what you see, similarly as the last slide, left-hand side is a heat map, number of startups in a given state, union territory. Right-hand side, the same number divided by million. What the right-hand side map shows you is the job creation that's happening, because every startup creates about 11 jobs on average. And therefore, you will typically see people moving from lighter color states to darker color states. That's for work, right? So this is the this is the ecosystem behind the scene that is allowing something like IDEX to succeed. Now, the question is, what is not happening? So, if we step back a bit, the types of problems we are able to solve by engaging startups are those problems which are relatively smaller, easier to articulate, and where we know the technologies to build a solution. The problems that we are not able to solve are those problems that we know we have, where we know somebody else may have a solution, but we also know that such a solution is not available to us. That's the category of problem where we must solve our problems. That's the category we are yet to tackle through this platform. So the question is, how do you tackle it? And one answer is, we can tackle it with extreme creativity. That takes me to the phase 2 of our conversation. I'll go over the rest quickly. Now, as soon as I say extreme creativity, you might say, wait a minute. This is you're talking about extreme creativity to a set of people who are in the paradigm of extreme discipline. How are you, can these two coexist? And my answer from my experience of what is that a resounding yes. They can coexist. Let me give you an example. In the many places where I have had the good fortune of teaching innovation around the world, Schindler Elevator is one of them. You know that Schindler makes 30% of world's elevators. And elevators is a highly regulated industry because of safety reasons. If you walk into any of these factories, immaculate and highly disciplined factories anywhere in the world, your first thought will not be that this is a place for innovation anymore, because it's very regimented, right? But once you take this group of people through thinking about innovation and sort of and applying those tools, you realize that some amazing ideas begin to flow even in a very regimented setting. For example, a place like Schindler realizes that it has a billion, it comes in, the elevators that they build come in contact with 1 billion people every day all over the world. Imagine if you had a real estate like a screen on this elevator, which now we begin to see, and you could stream contextual advertising on the elevator, on elevator screen like Google does to us. That opportunity will completely dwarf the economic opportunity you have had through building the elevator in the first place. So in a highly disciplined environment, there is room for extreme creativity, and this creativity does not come as a threat to the discipline, because the regulatory compliance of the elevator is not compromised by doing that. Right? So this kind of combination is possible. I feel if somebody asked me to do a back of the envelope calculation, I would say that Indian Army, the armed forces, have a potential to hold 1,000 patents. You might say, how do you say that? I could say that because today in India, we have 105 patents for every million Indians. In Israel, the innovation nation, it's about 10 times. So 1,000 per million. In Army, there are 1 million